The deals of Bob Iger are reeling right now, and really it's a problem for the House of Mouse. Let's talk about this one. Disney gaming boss on massive disruption in games and what's coming next. This was March 24th, right? Out of GameSpot. And this came out early. By the evening, nobody was having a good time anymore. Let me say it again. This came out March 24th. By the afternoon, we found out that thousands were being fired from Fortnite, which is everything Disney is pinning their hopes and dreams on when it comes to the video game industry. How big is the gaming industry? Well, it's 14 times the size of the theatrical industry. Disney gaming boss, a massive disruption in games and what's coming next. The Simpsons crossover in Fortnite is an example of what Disney is hoping to achieve in gaming, says Eddie Maukich out of GameSpot. Disney's top gaming brass, the veteran Sean Shoptaw, has outlined the company's vision for games amid what he described as a massive disruption in the gaming market today. Part of Disney's investments and efforts in gaming today are Fortnite, but it goes a lot further than that. Sure it does. That's the billion-dollar bet that Bob Iger made. Speaking at SXSW, Shoptaw, Disney's executive vice president, global games and digital entertainment, said Disney's ambition for games overall is that they can stand alongside Disney's film, TV, and theme park businesses in terms of drawing people to Disney's worlds. And remember, Josh Tomorrow came out and said, he's seen, what's going on with Epic and Fortnite. And boy, oh boy, the possibilities. Oh boy. Fortnite is changing the game, they say. Also during his discussion, Shoptaw said games like Fortnite and Roblox. Oh, get out of there, dude. Join in with that and be taken down by the feds. Are effectively massive social platforms, and this has led to a massive disruption in the traditional gaming market. Yada, yada, yada. Hey, guys, let me tell you about World of Warcraft. You might have heard of it 15, 20 years ago. Disney invested $1.5 billion into Epic Games to create a Disney metaverse. Folks, where is the metaverse? Where is the Disney Fortnite collaboration that was supposed to do everything for this company? Oh, Tom Bricker. Disney Tourist.
Can I ask a question?
You can.
Didn't they cancel the metaverse?
Culture, you just have to keep raining on the parade, don't you?
The kids don't want to play these characters. They rather get a fish and put a mustache on them with a backpack and a rocket. They don't care about playing as Bart Simpson or a Star Wars stormtrooper. I'm just saying, as a mom with kids, they're more interested in making and building their own characters in Fortnite. I'd rocket on a mustachioed goldfish, you bet. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Major Disney player Epic Games. This I need people to understand. The GameSpot article and what was being said by Disney came out in the morning of March 24th. In the evening of March 24th, Tom Bricker reports major Disney player Epic Games laying off 1,000 employees and cutting costs of $500 million. And here is this is the concept art. For everybody out there so excited for Villains Land. Here's the concept art that we were supposed to get for Fortnite. Not jack squatamus have you received. Nothing. Is that Abu Dhabi Disneyland in the middle of that? I can't tell anymore. Folks, you didn't get any of this. You did not get one bit of this. Nothing of this is on the way as far as we can tell. And Fortnite is pulling back. Says one of the Walt Disney Company's major players and strategic partners, Epic Games, announced that it's eliminating more than 1,000 employees due to a drop in engagement for Fortnite.
Yeah, you see?
Along with more than $500 million in cost cutting.
Yeah.
Now, we're not taking any joy in this. Folks, we don't like it when people lose their jobs. Don't be misled into what we're talking about here. What we're trying to say is, yet again, Bob Iger bet big, and then they painted up a real pretty picture, told you what you're going to get, and they picked the wrong horse badly. Now, I love Fortnite. I think it's a fun game. I think it can come back. I'm not overly negative on this. Mm-hmm. But where is this? Vash, where is this? Why do we not have anything like this? And it's not that we don't have it, Vash. I've seen more on Skyrim 6. I've seen more on things. Vaporware has more evidence of development than whatever it is that Disney was planning.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, I mean, this is the issue, right? The announcement that Disney was going to take, I believe, a 9% equity stake into Epic Games came right before Nerding Skull. And Nerding Skull, I remember, wasn't the greatest, but it was right before then. And I remember, Jonas and everybody being on that call and going, "Whoa, this is a big deal. This is huge. This is outstanding." But the issue is with all of these games, like Fortnite, like WoW, like anything else, they have their trends, they have their ups and they have their downs. And when that player base recedes, what do you do? Again, they invest in Epic Games, sure, but the problem is are they going to be able to?
Bash, they've got Disney skins in the game. That's it. Every other company has skins in the games too. You can get any skins. Listen, they're doing Looney Tunes right now. Bash, what did Disney get for $1.5 billion?
The ability to put their characters into a video game. That's
There's a lot. It's just the film. If the characters were memorable and the films were doing well, then the kids would be more obliged to purchase those suits, right, in the Fortnite game. But because that's not happening, there's no interest in kids begging their parents for the cards to load up so that they can buy all of those suits for their characters, is what I'm saying.
Vash, your thoughts on this? This is a crazy loss on the investment.
This is pretty wild because it wasn't that long ago when they actually held D23 Expo where they showcased a portion of that parks panel within Fortnite. That's kind of the crazy thing. And then we heard Josh D'Amaro talking about, the endless possibilities of maybe debuting trailers in Fortnite and so forth and all kinds of stuff. I think there was a 70th anniversary Disneyland promotion that was that was launched there as well. And it's just like, everybody's just looking at this and going, when do we make our $1.5 billion back over this whole thing? Now you have the head of Epic Games saying that the downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means that we're spending significantly more than we are making. Again, this trend is now, it has far past reached its apex. And now it's turning down, just like basically all trends in gaming do eventually.
That's what we're watching.
Can I ask another question? Because I'm full of questions today.
Only
why did Disney kill all their gaming stuff in 2016 for the second time in recent memory that they killed all their gaming stuff?
You recall, Culture, that Bob told us when they bought in at Epic. You'll recall he told us that he's just learned that games are a big thing. Now,
but
Bob wasn't alive. Bob wasn't alive when Pac-Man came out. Bob wasn't alive when the NES came out. Bob wasn't alive when Sonic did the loop-de-loops in the Sega Genesis. Bob wasn't alive for Hadoukens or Get Over Here's or any of that. Bob missed everything, Culture, in the culture for like 50 years and then went, by George, these kids these days, they're playing video games. Never heard of such. Let's get on to that now. We'll put $1.5 billion in Epic.
But they killed their own studios. They killed their own game. Do you remember Disney Infinity?
That's what the girls used to play. And, Vash just said Generation Alpha. Generation Alpha is not interested in playing Fortnite. The girls are Gen Zs, okay? I'm talking about my girls specifically. They're 21 and 23. They played Infinity. Culture. I was at the store every week getting new characters. It was exciting. Yeah. I don't know why that whole thing flunked. But these kids, this Generation Alpha, they are not interested in buying skins. I meant skins before. I said suits, didn't I? Like an old fart. Skins, they're not interested in saying and purchasing skins for these characters because it's not anything that's attracting their attention. It's loss of engagement. They don't have the Generation Alpha's attention with the films that they've been making over the last decade or more.
Hey, Erika, let me go to you on this. I'm looking at this concept art. Now, Epic is saying they're cutting 1,000 employees. I'm going to say that probably makes this way less likely. It was already pretty darn unlikely considering we've never seen this ever outside of a little painting. So I think it's nonsense. But Erika, given how this is never going to come to fruition, I'm just thinking to myself, all that art they put out for Villains Land that everybody, all the Disney shills, the pixie dusters, they show that and they say, we get Villains Land, take that Epic, we're going to beat you now. Epic Universe that time. I gotta think they're having a little bit of doubt about Villains Land now, Erika, because it turns out this company likes to put out flashy, crazy concept art, and they have no intention of executing and making that come true.
I can think of a clip we could play, but it's exceedingly inappropriate for this channel. They don't seemingly know what they want. They're out of touch with the consumer, it seems like, on all facets, even down to theme parks. And everyone, I think, is just exhausted and is just completely disinterested at this point.
Erika, do you think we'll get anything like the Villains Land concept art? Or do you think?
I don't know. I'm back and forth on that. They have a tall order to fill if they want to actually make money in anything. As for video games, I really can't speak to that. I raise boys, they're Gen Z, and they were way into the war games, like
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, that was the big one. Yeah. So the Disney stuff, it wasn't really, they were into the cutesy stuff. They wanted to be first person shooters. So I think MJ's got more to say on the whole video game stuff. And I'm not a gamer either. So, but in terms of concept art and.
You're telling me you don't play Candy Crush?
No, I haven't actually. Yeah, I know. I like Mahjong Quest on a rare occasion.
All right.
Japanese tiles.
Farm Life Simulator, you play that in? You know?
Nope, don't do that either. I know, I'm freaking boring, dude. Gosh.
Okay, all right. Kosh and Posh, we'll go with it. Hey, let me get Vash the final word on this. Vash, $2.5 billion investments when you put the Fortnite thing and the Sora thing together.
Oh yeah.
In a single day, Disney just got devastated because if you fire 1,000 employees, the chances of them making the Disney thing happen now exceedingly low. Sora's gone. $2.5 billion investments, the big investments that had Wall Street excited, gone in a single day. Have you ever seen anything like this from any company, honestly?
I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, this is the first time. I mean, even for Disney, this is the first time in which they've invested so much. And remember, like every single earnings call that we had heard post these investments, we just heard about these things. We just heard about, investors asking questions about, hey, what about this OpenAI integration? Hey, what are you going to do with Epic Games and so forth? And Disney had made a big stink of what they were actually going to do with Epic, even very recently, as recently as the shareholders meeting that just took place. They moved the games division under Dana Walden, and it's like, okay, we're going to go forward. We're going to do this with Epic Games, and now this whole thing collapses. Their digital footprint has now been cut out from underneath them, and it's really, really interesting to see just how much of a smoke and mirrors game this actually was. There wasn't really any substance to any of this, which we rightly predicted. And we're not the only ones saying that. Bloomberg is also saying that Disney had misstepped greatly, and all of their investments that they had recently invested in just went up in smoke.
Can I suggest something very quickly?
Only if it's good culture.
Is it possible that the current structure at Disney and the culture at Disney is contributing to the failure of all these grandiose ideas?
Oh, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
With all the there's a lot of back talk with the restructuring of the entertainment and filmmaking. They're moving a lot of their checkers, their board pieces around, and we might get some new blood in the company. Ever since I believe Walden and Diamaro came in, they're shuffling all kinds of pieces back there. I don't know who's in charge of what anymore on that part, on the back end.
They need to figure it out, because Disney at this point maybe should focus on back to basics, entertainment, so that can flow into the parks. And this whole tech business, they just need to hang it up. If you can't get what you were known for originally and your niche, if you can't get that right and get that back on track, that you're just lost, you're floundering, and they need to get it together.
Last thing, Vash, you would be able to speak to this more than anybody else in the panel, maybe Pro can as well. But do you think that in light of what Erika just said, that their inability to make new creative content, and I'm talking about new, I'm not talking about sequels, prequels, threequels, the bologna sausage they've been peddling is new. Right.
Original
I'm
films.
saying is that not the way to get the flywheel going in the first place, so that it naturally fed into products, parks, and everything else?
Of course, absolutely. I mean, ideally, that's how you set your company up for 20, 30 years, even if the franchise is big enough and has enough legs. The problem is the creative engine has stalled. Bob Iger actually knew that, which is why when he comes back, he signs off on Toy Story 5 and Moana 2 and all these other things, because he knew the original creative storytellers that Disney really enjoyed, like in the later 2000s and 2010s, just simply were not there anymore. And it was a real acknowledgement, at least for me, when looking at that roadmap that Bob Iger had listed out so many years ago.
Imagine if when Disney had purchased Lucasfilm, that they had not shut down LucasArts, the video game company that George Lucas started. Imagine if that was still around, and imagine if LucasArts could have been working with Epic to make this thing that they dreamed of. Unfortunately for Disney, they're fully and totally dependent on other companies now to do everything for them because they fired their geniuses. They took their players out of the game.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.